Hello, welcome to the Balanced Body podcast. I'm Lindy Royer, physical therapist, founder of Park Meadows Piliates and Physical Therapy in Lone Tree, Colorado, and Balanced Body faculty member. Today we're going to be exploring the infinite possibilities of the Balanced Body Reformer using the Infinity foot bar. We're specifically going to talk about using the foot bar at the head end of the Reformer. So first, I'll show you the vertical adjustments on the foot bar, then we'll look at the horizontal adjustments on the foot bar. As you can see, the foot bar right now is in its extra high position, which is vertical. By squeezing the two pins on the outside, we can lower it to what we would call a high position. And from there, we have three more adjustments. One to the low position, the extra low position, or what we would call the no bar or zero position. I'm going to move the foot bar back to the extra high position, and we're going to move the foot bar up to the headrest end. So what we just did was to pull the pin out. The pin will lock, giving us access to this lovely slide mechanism. Now what you might notice is if I start to move from the foot bar itself, I limit the ability of the foot bar to slide really freely. It's much better when shifting it to hang on to the uprights. This will prevent the foot bar from getting jammed down into the track, making it much more easy to slide the foot bar. Now, when we're selecting positions, there are a variety of different exercises that can be done. We may choose the foot bar closer to the headrest. For example, if lying supine, taking the hands over the head, we may want to limit range of motion and extension of the shoulders. We can also do exercises closer to the risers, perhaps doing something like lying on the long box, where we would want more extension of the shoulders in a prone position, for example. We also do several exercises lying supine, either with the head at the headrest end or at the spring end. So depending on how much range of motion we want and also where we want the upper extremities or lower extremities, this is going to dictate the position of the foot bar. Another thing to note is the further we move the foot bar toward the risers, the more resistance, more tension we're going to have from the springs. So I'm just going to put the foot bar in this position. And I'd like to point out a couple of other features that you may not be aware of, which is the ability for us to be able to remove the shoulder rests, which we do quite often when the Reformer is set up in the standard position. For example, doing a long sit position, being able to free the legs from feeling trapped inside the shoulder rest. So I'm going to simply remove the pin and remove the shoulder rest. We're going to do the same thing on the other side. And now we have a free surface for us to be able to play with. This is really helpful when doing exercises in a supine position with the head toward the spring and with the pelvis toward the headrest. Something that's really important to point out here is that there can be a safety issue when using the Reformer in this particular setup. With the feet or the hands on the foot bar, we can potentially unhinge the bottom of the Reformer if we get too much weight toward the headrest, particularly if we're on light springs. Right now we're set up on a blue spring, and so there is potential for too much weight to gather at the headrest end, particularly if we're working with clients who tend to use a lot of momentum rather than control and spine mobility. In an exercise such as a modified teaser with the foot bar in this position where the hands are on the foot bar, potentially what can happen if there is no control of the movement and the student is using too much momentum is we can literally have too much weight at this end, too much momentum, and we can literally unhinge or lift up through the wheels down at the other end. This obviously is a dangerous situation that we want to avoid when working with the infinity bar in this setup. So I wanted you to be aware of it because it can happen. Thank you for watching this podcast on infinite possibilities.